Lesson 5, taking action now. This lesson is going to be a little bit different. I'm going to run through a list of 12 activities that if you're doing these activities consistently, your brain is going to give you everything you need to take action. Now, some of these I'm just going to mention very briefly, and some of them I'm going to go into a little more detail, because you're already very familiar with some of them, I'm sure. So, here we go. Number 1, figure out what it is you want. Figure out what's important to you. Figure out what goals you have. Figure out what goals you want to accomplish. There's lots of ways to do this and lots of videos on YouTube about how to do it. So I'm not going to go into much detail here. Just make sure that your goals are SMART. S-M-A-R-T. Specific, measurable, attainable. In other words, you're not going to try and build a balloon out of lead. You're not going to try and run a 3-minute mile. Make sure they're within the realm of reason. Realistic. If you're a normal person right now, you're probably not going to be a millionaire in 2 weeks. So make sure it's a reasonable goal. Make sure you think of that as possible. And T is time. Make sure you have a time limit on it. I will do this by this date. So that's the acronym SMART, S-M-A-R-T. Now, the second thing to do is figure out your why. What are you passionate about? And again, this is something I'd be glad to do another short video on if anybody's interested. But there's some very, very good ways to do this kind of stuff. And I'm fond of a couple. One of them I try and do every couple of months. Some people do it even more often than that. Because if you're growing and changing and reaching goals, you're going to have new goals to create. And so sometimes you might want to do this as often as once a month. Either get passionate or go home. The next one is visualize yourself having achieved those goals. And there's a million ways to do this. You can create a vision board. You can create audio recordings of yourself enjoying the lifestyle. And speaking of vision boards, I want to tell you a quick story from John Assaraf. And this is really an incredible story about the power of visualizing where you want to go. Again, the more you visualize it with passion, with intensity, the faster you'll get there. But he tells a story of at one point in his life, he was dreaming, goal setting, and he cut out, among other things, a picture of a house and pasted it on a vision board with a lot of other images. And shortly thereafter, he moved from one house to another, and that vision board got packed up and, packed up into a box and forgotten about pretty much. And then he moved at least 1 or 2 other times in the next 2 years. And then about 2 years later, he and his family moved into a new house that they had purchased. And as he was unpacking some boxes a couple weeks later after he moved in, he found a box that he had no idea what was in it. So he opened up the box and found that vision board. And he started looking at it. And he realized that the picture that he had pasted on that vision board several years before was an actual photograph of the house he had just moved into. Now, think about that one for a minute. That's pretty powerful. Number 4 is plan your work and work your plan. Now, the vast majority of us do far, far, far too much planning and not near enough action. And this is the lesson on action, so I'm definitely not gonna talk about planning a whole lot, because most of the time all you need is a rough idea of where you want to go, and once you start taking action, your plan is going to come into focus much better. However, if you're in the middle of the United States, in the middle of the continental 48 states, and your goal is to see a sunset, and your plan is to start walking east, you're not going to have a lot of success. However, and this is the important part, because you're taking action, because you're actually walking east, you're actually doing something. You're going to get feedback. In another day or 2 or 6 or 25, you're going to figure out that that's not a very good plan, so you're going to change your plan and do something different. That's the power of action. You can plan for 10 years, and if you never take that action, you're never going to know if your plan is any good or not. Don't overthink your plan. Step number 5, and this I want you to do right now. I want you to actually turn off this video right now and do something concrete to reach one of your goals. Make a phone call, write a letter, write an email, go purchase a book, do something. Something concrete, not just more planning. Take a concrete action right now. When you're done, come back to this video. Step number 6 is a commitment. Commit to yourself, not to me, to yourself. Commit to reviewing steps 1, 2, and 3 daily. Every day. Invest time visualizing where you want to go. Step number 7, commit, again, to yourself. Commit to going through the 30-day challenge. Investing 10 minutes in the morning and 10 minutes at night, asking yourself life-changing questions. And by the way, somehow I'm going to give you access to a PDF of all the life-changing questions, so you don't have to write them down. And the same thing is true with these 12 steps. So don't worry about taking notes. Step number 8, keep a journal, especially a gratitude journal, but that's not all. Put other stuff about your life in there as much as you can. One of the things I most regret is not writing more in a journal. And I wrote more than a whole lot of people. And actually, the journals I have written are absolutely among my most prized possessions. Every once in a while, when I want to laugh at myself, I go back and look at some of my old journals. But I really, really, really wish I had written more. It's hard to understand the power of that until you actually do it. So write a lot. And if you write in a Word document on a computer, that's just, if that works for you, do that. Personally, I prefer just actual physical paper and a pen. I don't know why, I do. Maybe I'm just old school, I don't know. But whatever works for you, but keep a journal. Number 9, get an accountability partner. Just a few minutes ago, as I was preparing for this lesson, I ran across a service that you can purchase for $300 per month. They will give you a phone call once a week and a fancy calendar to put your appointments into. $300 a week. But some people pay it because it's worth it. I mean, that wouldn't be a successful business if people weren't paying that. So find some way to get an accountability partner, somebody to work with you, a mentor, something, so that you're sharing your goals, your specific steps, your timelines with another person. And make sure you don't share too much of that stuff with people who are going to bring you down. Go back to the lesson we talked about putting positive stuff in your brain. I'm going to talk a little bit more about that in the bonus lesson. But people that are going to tear you down, don't share that stuff with them. They don't need to know. Speaking of positive, step number 10 is put positive stuff in your brain every single day. Absolutely. It's absolutely critical. Step number 11, reward yourself. Every once in a while, just go buy a pair of shoes if that's what you need to do. Do something to make yourself feel good, to bring beauty into your own life. Because remember, it's the journey that's important. Life doesn't begin when we reach a goal. Life is reaching for goals. Working towards goals, moving toward goals. Matter of fact, one of the definitions of success I like is making progress toward a goal. And step number 12 is build up your why so big that it's greater than your fear. When your why, when your reason for doing something is, when your passion is greater than your fear, that's when it's very easy to take action. So, if you're doing these 12 activities consistently, you will take action. There's just no other way about it. Your brain will not let you not take action. Now, I'm just going to go through some quotes here, some motivational quotes that I appreciate. And if these help you in some way, that's great. If they don't worry about it. If you like, you can skip this section entirely. And after I go through some quotes, I'm going to go through some life-changing questions, so don't skip those. Less slacken and make stuff happen. Promise yourself that you will never give up on your dreams. I will succeed because I'm willing to get up one time more than I fall down. Don't let your dreams be just dreams. That's a scary one to me. Ambition is the first stage. Action is the second stage. The pain of regret is greater than the pain of action. And speaking of pain, the human brain is truly an incredible thing. What you attach pain and pleasure to is learned. And anything that is learned can be unlearned. So if, for example, if you have pain in your mind attached to the concept of making a phone call, you can break that attachment and attach pleasure to the concept of making that phone call and pain to the concept of not making the phone call. And if you're interested in that, then you might want to consider reading about something called neuro-linguistic programming. And if anybody wants, maybe I can do a short lesson on that. But there's other people that probably do it a whole lot better than me. Okay, here's another one. Less wishing and more doing. Actions prove priorities. I've always been a great believer in watching what people do. I grew up in Washington, D.C., listening to politicians lie through their teeth all day and every day. So I learned at a very young age the value of watching what people do and not so much worrying about what they say. Manage your distractions. Don't let your distractions manage you. Ask for help when you need it. A mentor, a business associate, a business partner, something. Move your body. Remember, the brain works on oxygen. When blood circulates through your body, when you're physically active, get up and walk around. Don't sit all day, every day. Move your body once in a while, or twice in a while. One of my daughters just graduated with a degree in something physiology, sports physiology. So she's always telling me to move around. The actions you take, to a great extent, help shape your life. So take actions that move you toward your goals and not away from your goals. This is another one I like. Small actions taken are better than the grandest actions planned. Pablo Picasso wrote, "Action is the foundational key to all success." Zig Ziglar wrote, "You don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great." And speaking of being great or not great, forgive yourself if you need to for past mistakes. Go past them. Move on. Love yourself the way you are and where you are, and get on the road towards your goals. Sometimes great wisdom comes from very young people. The following quote is from a woman named Finley Muratova, whose father is one of the last remaining journalists in the country of Russia right now. Almost everybody else who considers themselves a journalist has been killed or put in prison. She said just the other day, "Just because the future is uncertain doesn't mean that we can stop fighting for it." So keep working toward your future. The most difficult thing is the decision to act. The rest is merely tenacity. That's from Amelia Earhart, one of the first great women pilots. And this is absolutely one of my all-time favorites. Action cures fear. It's hard to be afraid when you're actually doing something. One small step taken today is greater than 20 genius ideas stored up for the right time. Feed your own soul. Do what you need to do to put quality and beauty into your own life. Go buy a pair of shoes if that's what you need to do. Whatever works for you. But make sure you're taking care of you on the road to success. Don't ask yourself what the world needs. Ask yourself what makes you come alive. Then go out and do it. Because what the world needs is people who have come alive. That's from Howard Washington Thurman. It is not the mountain that we conquer, but ourselves. That's from Sir Edmund Hillary, one of the first people to climb Mount Everest. Who looks outside dreams. Who looks inside awakes. Carl Jung. I love this. You are very powerful, provided that you know how powerful you are. Now, in a way, that sounds like something Yogi Berra might have said, but Yogi Bhajan said that. Bhajan. I apologize if I'm mispronouncing that. And the last one of these quotes: you can have anything you want if you are willing to give up the belief that you can't have it. Think about that one for a minute. Write about that one in your journal. What beliefs do you have that may be keeping you from stepping out, taking action? Okay, now for this lesson's life-changing questions. Why am I able to reach my goals so much faster than I used to? Why do I consistently find the time to review my goals and keep them foremost in my mind? What can I do today to help other people get from where they are to where they want to be? Why do I find myself in a loving and harmonious relationship? Why do I allow myself the good things in life? Why do my prosperous thoughts help create my prosperous life? Why do I feel wealthy and successful? Why do I have prosperity flowing into my life now? Why am I filled with great abundance now? Why do I consistently feel wealthy? Why do I consistently expand my awareness of the abundance around me? Why do I always seem to draw the correct people into my life? Why does it seem so easy for me to create wealth? Why have I been able to dissolve all resistance to wealth? Why is my life so full of love and joy? Why am I consistently healthy and happy? Why am I passionate about helping others? Why do I deserve to be successful and prosperous? Okay, now as with all the life-changing questions, forget about the ones you don't like, add ones you do like, change the order of them around, change the word, whatever you need to do to make it work for you. So now at this point, we're done. Congratulations. Give yourself another pat on the back. You made it through the course. Well, there's still the bonus lesson, and there's a whole lot of good stuff in there, so do take a look at that. Now, before I forget, in the next couple of weeks, I'm going to find a way to create some sort of community for us that have purchased the course and have gone through the course and are interested in actually taking action. And it may be on mightynetworks.com or maybe on thinkific.com. I'm not sure yet, but I'll find a way to get that information out to you, even if I need to create another video and call it Lesson 6 Community or something like that. You now have a very powerful set of tools in your hand, which will absolutely help you out on the road towards your goals. But only if you're on the road. Only if, as Cervantes said so many years ago, you're willing to leave the inn and get out on the road, to actually take some action. Now, before you go out there and take that action, there's two final things. First, commit to yourself, absolutely 100%, that you will do the 30-day challenge. You will absolutely read out loud the questions, think about them, write about them, morning and evening, at least 10 minutes each session. The first couple of days might be pretty raw, it might be pretty ugly, but keep at it. It will get better, it will get easier, and you will be absolutely blown away by the results. Second, right now, right this instant, go do something. Just a phone call, an email, go visit somebody, go do something right now. And we'll see you on the bonus session.